Okay. Oh. Usually I run some ads first, but I'm sitting here ready on time, so we're just gonna get stuck in. So the aim is to do 2 games today, but that depends on how much I get into this game, I guess. First we're doing Swordbreaker Origins. The achievement we have to get for this is to spare the Xenobug. So we will see if we can get that. But yeah, anyway, this game is developed by Ducats Game Studio, published by Sometimes You, and came out on the 5th of March 2023. We are clearing up our 2023 backlog. And Ray! Hello! Greetings to Ray and Mr. Cornus. We'll load up. Hello! Love you too. Where are we? Okay. All the bloops. It is very hot still. Hopefully, and also hi Sir Khalid. Hopefully you're keeping cool. So yes, this one's an Ideal Xbox game. Thank you to Ideal Xbox for the code for this one. We're playing on Xbox today. On Xbox, we're looking at £8.39 or $9.99. And it's also available on PC, PlayStation, and Switch. Originally came out in May 2022. It's an illustrated text quest in the Swordbreaker universe. As I have literally no knowledge of the Swordbreaker universe, we're going into this, prequel, knowing absolutely nothing. So we get the prequel. 33 degrees yesterday in South London. Yeah, it was 31 in East London. We managed to win in that it was cooler inside than it was outside, but I was still a puddle yesterday. It is a lot cooler today. It is still 28 inside, but as it's 25 outside, I have all of the windows and doors open. And what is going on? Hang on. The fans hit my green screen. There we go. The fan hit my green screen. So I had a brief disruption in the background. Okay. So yeah, this is a prequel. Yeah. Which hopefully will mean that I will have some idea of what the heck's going on. But I know nothing about Swordbreaker. So yeah, it's just funny. The Swordbreaker, the game, we have apparently played in 2020. I'm gonna go with it was a visual novel and it was quick, and we probably kind of futzed through it a little bit quick, though we may have streamed it. But I know nothing about the Swordbreaker universe particularly. So yeah, we're just gonna sort of, it's like the Mingles are approaching the borders of Dorgan. When the royal army appears on the other side of the bridge. Among the soldiers, there's a hero in shining armor whose name is Swordbreaker. And I'm like, cool, right. I mean, it was a bit of kitchen. You can still see it. The fan is hitting the green screen. So we're just going to have to deal with occasionally there's going to be a little bit of a thingy. Yeah, if you can geolocate me based on 3 centimeters of my kitchen, then, that's fine. There are lots of achievements. No, there are 60. Yeah, there are lots of achievements. There are 68 freaking achievements in this game, all of which are obtainable. Also, hi Vlad. I think I said hello to everyone. If I didn't, hello everyone, and please say hi, because I didn't forget you. I just didn't see. So yeah, we are less warm today. In that, we sort of won against stuffs. Yeah, it's basically because the fan's moving and I have shifted the green screen over, or it's the camera or something. If we tilt the camera slightly, Oh god, now it's actually wonky. Oh my god, okay. Am I straight? No. But is the camera straight? Maybe. Right. Okay, let's just let that adjust. Right, I think now it should be fine. And also I'm not, like, smushed into the corner. Yeah, I'm not straight, but the camera is now straight. I was making the joke. Do cats! I love this. That is such a cute little thingy. I'm taking a screenshot because that is adorable. This game has a humorous parody character. All the mentioned characters are fictional. Any coincidences with real or other people's fictional personalities are accidental. Right. So immortality mode. All right. NG plus God mode. To unlock, complete the game for any 3 endings. There's a map. Wow. Yeah, Mingle and Dorgan. We have opened none of the 620 scenes. That's fine. So this is what we're dealing with. We're going into this with, you know, complete unseriousness, honestly, because I've not got the foggiest fun Swordbreaker. Can we change it? Robo sounds like a good one. Let's have a little bit of volume. It does not actually appear to have changed the thing. Credits. This game is developed by Ducats. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna do about an hour and a half of this and then see where we're at, and then we have another game lined up. But if we're enjoying this, then we will just continue playing this game, basically. I should have put this on when I was busy dicking around. Because yeah, I don't doubt we'll get to an actual ending. This game is developed on Unity. Thanks for playing. There we go. At least there's short credits. Right, new game. Swordbreaker.
Mysterious adventurer.
Hang on, is it talking?
Shaped the fate of the abandoned castle.
Oh.
But how? Did he save the princess? Did he become the Dark Lord? Or has he stolen the Lord's gem? What do we know about the Swordbreaker at all? Who is he? And how did he get his nickname? This story will tell you about the time when a naive boy wasn't the Swordbreaker yet, and he would have to face his fate at a young age. And who knows if he become that same man known for his adventures in the castle, or if totally different ones awaits him. It all began in his home village of Sunny Hills, where he spent his childhood days.
Okay. Show statistics on and the map with the hamburger button. Read the story. Choose your way. And then we can hide the UI. I think that's pushing the right stick. So yeah, apparently there's a narrator. But I don't know whether that was just the beginning bit. Just turn down the music a little bit. Okay. Alright. Daniel Horde, your food is ready. Yeah. Let me... It was like, already when it was the dude talking, yes, we would like the... Yeah, we would like the narrator to be loud, but not the music. Okay. All right. Is that better now? I knew it was loud. I was just like, okay, it's not going to talk anymore. Hi, Sub. Hi, Sub. How are you doing? So yes, we have 0 hero, 0 killer, 0 coward. We still just have this thing. Now we've got 1 scene. Okay. So, Daniel Horde, your food is ready. Come home quick, his mother called sternly. Coming, Mum, the boy shouted back from some bushes. Danny climbed out of a bush nearby the neighbouring house, waved a goodbye to his friends and went into his house. His family wasn't rich, but his mother's income was enough for a normal life. They had a garden where they grew crops, so the Horde family had a lot of things to take care of. Daniel had no father. Well, I don't know, if it narrates again, I'll turn it up, I guess. The background music is supposed to be background, so yeah. As long as there's sort of a little bit of background music so that when I'm not talking, it's not deathly quiet, then we're good. Also, I stuck my legs together again. I'm wearing shorts because it is hot, and thus when I pile my legs on top of each other, they stick, and it's unpleasant because it's hot. They also had a garden where they grew crops, so the Horde family had a lot of things to take care of. Daniel had no father. He died. His father was a soldier in King Stephen's army and was mortally wounded in the first attack of the Mingles. The Mingles. I'm sorry, I can't take it seriously. It sounds like a cartoon character. The boy never saw him, and it made him feel sad at times. Eat your lunch and go to school, his mother said. What should Daniel answer? Choice 1, why do I have to go to school? Or 2, all right, mother. I'm going to go with all right, mother. It's a choose your own adventure story, I think. Danny ate his lunch and left the house. He walked down the village street towards his school. He didn't want to go to school, but his mother insisted on it. When he was far enough away from home, he suddenly had an idea. Maybe he could skip school and seek some adventures in the forest. Ooh. Nah, let's just be boring and go to school. No, let's be smart and go to school. School is not boring. I liked school. I liked the school part of the school work part of school up until like about age 13. But yeah, anyway, when the boy reached his school, he opened the door and sat down at his desk. The teacher said something about letters in the alphabet, but he wasn't very interested. All his thoughts were about the future. He wants to grow up as soon as possible. After classes finished and when all the students and teacher left the classroom, Danny stayed behind and saw that there was a strange black book on the teacher's desk. Should he take it or not? Oh yeah, heck, we're taking the book. We love books. Daniel picked up the unusual book. The cover read, Exorcism, Summoning Underworld Gods. It was difficult for Danny to read this book, but he still managed to read the most interesting chapter about summoning the devil. He sat reading the book until the evening, then he put the book back on the table and went home. 10 years passed. Wow, okay, so, you know. I was like, oh, are we going to be summoning the devil? Okay, no, maybe we're just, no, now it's 10 years later. Daniel grew up. He still wanted to be a soldier, however now he's worried about one thing, whether he wants to be a soldier in the Royal Army or a free warrior. One summer, a ragman enlistment officer arrived in Sunny Hills. He stopped at the tavern, got off his horse, and rang the bell to gather the people for an announcement. When they finally gathered around him, the officer unfolded a scroll with a seal. In the name of King Stephen, I command all young men between the ages of 20 and 25 to be drafted into the army for 5 years. The mobilization is being carried out due to the increased activity of the Imperial troops on our western borders. The men must arrive at the barracks in Rangwan within 10 days. Those who decide to dodge the draft will be hanged for treason, the officer read. After that, his assistants handed out draft cards to all the men who fit the requirements. Danny realized this was a moment to try and make a difficult choice in his life. Should he go to Rangwan or try and escape into the woods? Or maybe he should ask the officer a silly question. Oh, I can make it bigger. Okay. Well, that's better than trying to scroll so much. Okay. So, join the army, escape to the forest, or ask a silly question. Of course we're going to ask a silly question. What time do you have to wake up in the army? Danny shouted. You must wake up at 6 in the morning because the only thing you want to do at 6 in the morning is killing people. The enlistment officer shouted. What if I don't want to kill people? Okay. Alright, so now we go back. We asked the silly question. I'm going to go. Let's run away. Danny decided to become a free adventurer and not to serve the king. He gathered up his belongings and went into the forest. It was the forest near his village. The trees were as high into the sky and there were bushes with bright berries all around. The young man walked for a long time until he got tired. He decided to camp for the night, so he built a fire and made a small shelter out of some tree branches. He noticed a mushroom under a tree. I hope it's edible, Daniel said out loud. Should he eat the mushroom raw, cook it over the fire, or maybe he should just go to sleep? Or maybe he should take the mushroom with him. Okay, well the mushroom looks like it's glowing. Take it with him. Daniel took the mushroom and put it into his pocket. Now he can go to sleep. In any incomprehensible situation, go to sleep. Danny remembered Uncle Tom's words. The old forest swayed in the night and the crickets chirped, steadily lulling Daniel to sleep. The young man crawled into his shelter, curled up and fell asleep. In the middle of the night, Daniel was awakened by a loud cracking sound of a branch somewhere near his shelter. He grabbed his sword. Should he climb out of his shelter to the fire, sit quietly, or scream? We're just gonna sit quietly? Daniel was startled, and a drop of cold sweat rolled down his forehead. Suddenly, he heard some soft footsteps in the silence of the night. Suddenly, a wolf passed in front of his shelter. The other two were wandering behind the fire. They haven't noticed him yet. Hack the nearest one from behind, try to climb a tree, or kick the nearest wolf in the ass. I mean... I'm gonna try and climb a tree. Climb the tree, Danny thought, and jumped on the nearest pine tree. You're trying to climb a pine tree? Interesting. He climbed on a branch and started catching his breath. The wolves below were snarling viciously and keeping their eyes on him. What a dumb idea! What should I do now? The boy scolded himself, looking down at the wolves. Several new desperate ideas appeared in his head. Should he throw some pine cones at the wolves? Wait until they go away, or maybe hurl a saw at one of them? Pine cones, clearly. Die, you bastard! We're not hoping they'll die. We were hoping they run away. The young man shouted and started furiously throwing pine cones at the wolves. He kept throwing cones at them, some even hit the wolves. But it didn't do any good. The wolves became even angrier with their unruly prey. And they should do something else. Wait. I'm thinking that's a bad idea. He decided to wait if the wolves would give up trying to eat him and find new prey. He was sitting on a branch and looked down apprehensively. He didn't even have the slight idea that the branch could break under his weight. And that's exactly what happened. The branch snapped and Danny fell screaming. He fell near the tree, hit his head on the ground and lost his consciousness. It was then the wolves hit their prey. Oh dear. Right, so we lost a heart. Okay, I'm gonna throw the mushroom. There we go. We're gonna blooped. Daniel remembered he had a mushroom. What if I try throwing it into the fire? The young man asked himself. He took the mushroom out of his pocket, aimed and threw it at the fire. Bullseye. A few seconds later, a thick, acrid smoke started coming out of the fire. It was heavy and did not rise high, so it didn't reach the young man. The wolves did not suffer long. They were poisoned by the mushroom fumes, and Danny climbed down from the tree and wandered further into the forest. Well, it's a good thing we didn't eat that mushroom. In the morning, Daniel went out to a small clearing in the woods and sat down on a stump to take a breather after the long walk. Put your hands up, stranger, Danny heard a man's voice. I'm no threat to you, and I'm ready to have a peaceful talk, he said while putting his hands up. It's not for us to decide. We don't like strangers here. You trespass the boundary between the territories of the humans and the elves of this forest. We'll have to take you to our queen and let her decide your fate, said a man with elven ears wearing beautiful armour, who appeared from the thicket. Another guard followed him out. Wow, the queen of the elves will decide my fate. That's an interesting turn of events, guys, I must say. Danny smiled. Hey, Yokesh. Is it cooler where you are today? Are you less of a puddle? Shut up and move. The elven guard raised his voice with irritation. Should Daniel go to the queen, irritate the guards, or kill them and mind his way? Go to the queen, clearly. We want to meet the queen of the elves. They walked with the guards through the forest for quite a while until they came to an open clearing with a massive tree in the middle. On its boughs there were small elven houses, platforms and stairs. The entire glade was covered with elven houses and buildings. The settlement looked as though it came straight from some storybook. Barely cooler. I mean, any win really, isn't it? Elven guards brought Daniel to a tree and stopped. Report to the queen about the prisoner, said one guard to the other. Another one. Second guard nodded and went into the passageway in the trees' twisted and tangled roots. A minute later, a girl in a beautiful dress appeared in it. She was so beautiful. Several of the guards walked beside her. Greetings, stranger, she said. I'm Queen Zana, the ruler of Fieliwa, the city of the elves and the whole of the southern forest. The queen introduced herself haughtily. Let's just greet her. Let's not goad the fairy queen. Greetings, Queen Zana. I am honoured to meet you. My name is Daniel. I came from the village of Sunny Hills in search of adventure. Perhaps I can render some good services to you. Danny bowed courteously to the queen. Well, since you claim to be looking for an adventure, I have a little task for you. If you can help, then I and the whole city will be grateful to you and you'll be able to count on our assistance in the future, the Queen said. What's the task? Danny asked. It's a long story, so I won't go into any details. I'll make it brief. Our forest is our home and our protection. We live in peace with all the animals, races, and people of Dorgan. Elves don't like war, but they're always ready for it. There are some vampires in the eastern part of our forest. At first they started attacking animals, but now they moved on to attack humans and elves. A long time ago they destroyed all the dendroids in our forest by killing most of the animals. And now the Order of the Long Root wants to perform a ritual to summon the spirit of the last dendroid, which could help us defeat the vampires. Your task will be to help the Order with everything and protect from the vampires while they perform their magic rituals. Well, and not disturb them, of course. What do you say to that? Xana gasped out. What should Daniel answer? I'm going to go with one of the dendroids. Also, one of the options was spank Xana. I mean, seriously? What are these dendroids, Danny asked. Dendroids are living trees that had inhabited our forests for thousands of years. They were peaceful, that's what prevented them from seeing the enemy and vampires in times. Dendroids are tied to their places of growth. They can't walk because they grow roots deep in the soil. Vampires have poisoned the earth with rotting and infected animal bodies. The dendroids started to dry up. Even though they sent us a signal for help and the vampires were destroyed, they didn't make it. Therefore, we created the Order of the Long Root, which is located on the site where the oldest dendroids of the forest grew, said Anna. Okay, so we'll go with yes, I'll help you. Of course I'll help you. Humans and elves must help each other, Daniel said. Great, you're a brave man, Daniel. I hope that you will succeed. You and your escort will leave for the Order at dawn tomorrow because it's a long journey and it's best not to wander through the forest at night. And today you can stay here in Thalia. We'll give you a house to spend the night in, Xana said. Thank you. Daniel bowed slightly. Xana and her suite went back to their tree. What should Danny do? I'm going to go with chat with the locals because pee under a tree sounds like a terrible idea. Danny was bored and decided to chat with the locals. He came up to some of the elves and tried to talk with them on various topics, but the elves were very shy and silently went to their homes. Apparently the young man had to find other entertainment. Walk around the city. As Danny walked through the beautiful cities of Thalia, he noticed an elf was trying hard to put the door to his house on his hinges. The door was wooden and it was quite heavy. He couldn't handle it alone. Should Danny help him or go to bed? So I'm going to help him. Need any help? Danny asked. Nice door. Help, Chester. And without waiting for an answer, he lifted for the door. Yes, thank you, said the elf. Together they lifted the door to the right height and carefully set it on its hinges. Thank you very much, stranger. It's not often that one can find such a kind-hearted specimen among humans. I am Chester, hunter and warrior of our city. Since you helped me, I'll help you too if you need it. Here, take this whistle. If you need help, whistle and I'll come to you as fast as I can, Chester said. Thank you, Chester. My name is Daniel. Glad to meet you. And after that he went to rest. The locals took Daniel to a modest house on the outskirts of the city. When he saw a soft bed there, he immediately went to sleep. The next morning he was awakened by the guards. The birds were chirping softly outside the window. Danny was so sleepy, but he had to get moving. One of Xana's mages had come to accompany him to the Order. He was dressed in beautifully coloured clothes and he carried a long staff. The long and exhausting road through the forest led them to some unknown destination. Or rather, only the mage knew the way. Daniel would have been lost ages ago if he'd have gone by himself. Suddenly the mage stopped and started to listen. He raised his hand up, ordering Danny to freeze. It was very silent in the forest. Daniel was a bit scared. He didn't understand what was going on. There seemed to be no signs of living beings nearby. What should Daniel do? Well, the mage tells you to stop. You stop. Better wait and let the mage deal with it, thought Danny, and he began to wait for what the mage was going to do. The mage waved his hands in the air, drawing some strange patterns, and finally uttered an incantation. A sharp metallic sound came from the grass. A lot of traps that were scattered around the nearest area of this forest slammed shut. When the traps were neutralized, the companions went further along the route. Yeah, we'd have got smushed in a trap then. We've already lost a heart by falling out of the tree and being eaten by wolves. After a few hours of wandering through the forest, they came to a large clearing where they could see withered, massive trunks of old trees. A host of elf mages scurried around the largest of the dead trees. Sorry. Oh, heat makes me sleepy. The mage joined his fellow mages and Danny came up to the archmage. Greetings, I'm Daniel. Queen Xanatel sent me to help you. Ah, good day to you, Daniel. I'm Archmage Plutonius. We've already performed some rituals near the trunk of the dendroid, and now we need the glowing berries that grow on the other side of the maze. Therefore, your task will be to get these berries so we can make a resurrection potion for the dendroid. Got it. Go through the maze, bring me the berries. Everything is clear as day. I won't waste your time any longer and go get you the berries. Daniel said and went in the direction indicated by the Archmage. Go get the berries. I am cooler today. I am getting such a lovely breeze. So even though it's 28, it feels like 25? I don't know. It's still warm, but it feels less warm today for some reason. Even though it's exactly the same temperature it was yesterday inside. Which is weird. Oh yeah, I'm really good at doing that as well. Daniel came up to the entrance of a large hedge maze. The long ridges of plants formed its walls that stretched far through the forest. The young man boldly stepped forward. Oh gosh. Okay, hero control. Where's the exit? Well, it's either at the top or the bottom. There we go. Well, that's one heck of a maze. I almost lost my mind when I was wandering through it, Daddy thought as he emerged from the other side of the maze. Helps when you can see it from the top. A maze of incredible beauty appeared before him. When he saw the glowing berries he was looking for. Each berry glowed softly with a bluish light. There were a lot of them. What should Daniel do with the berries? Take a handful of berries. I better gather more berries just in case they need them. Rise of the dead. Participate in the resurrection ceremony. Danny thought. He gathered a handful of berries and went back to the order contentedly. As Danny returned to the camp, he found Platonius and showed him the berries. You're a bright guy, I see. You passed the maze, gathered the berries. Something will come out of you, Daniel, the Archmage said joyfully and took the berries. Platonius threw them in a big alchemical mortar with the other ingredients and ground everything diligently. It's time to begin. Dear colleagues, it's time to begin the ritual of summoning the spirit of the last android. Everyone take your places, ordered Platonius. The mages quickly surrounded the trunk of the dead dendroid, and Platonius entered the center of the circle with his broom. He poured all of the mortar's contents around the roots of the dendroid and began to utter a resurrection spell. Daniel felt that the space around the Archmage started to distort, and the trunk of the dendroid began to glow with the light of the berries. A bright flash lit up the clearing with the dead dendroids, and then the spirit of the last dendroid appeared over the dead trunk. It was a delightful sight. Name yourself, Dendroid Spirit, the Archmage commanded. I am Oaken Club, the last of the Dendroids who ever lived here. Why did you summon me to this mortal world? The spirit replied. We've got the right trunk. I'm Archmage Platonius, Queen Zana, Lady of the Southern Forest, and I want to ask for your help. Tell us how to defeat the damned bloodsuckers who destroyed your family, said Platonius. So the vampires got to the elves too. You could have helped us in those days. Never mind, too many years have passed since then. I know how to defeat this evil, said Oakenclub. How? Tell us, what do we need to do? The Archmage asked. What do you need? Garlic, as much as possible? What do you need? Garlic, as much as possible. Unfortunately, we couldn't husband the ground and grow garlic, but you can. Plant it all around the perimeter of the forest and the bloodsuckers won't get in here. Also carry garlic with you just in case you encounter a vampire unexpectedly. That's the whole secret, said the dendroid. Garlic? Is this some kind of joke? We don't eat garlic. Our breath sinks horribly after eating it. Antonius was taken aback. No, it's not a joke. Hey, Nikki. The whole world knows that vampires fear garlic. You'd better talk to people more often, said Oakenclub. I see. Thank you for enlightening us, Oakenclub. Rest in peace and all that. We will avenge all of you, said Platonius. He waved his hands and the dendroid spirit disappeared. We need garlic! Daniel, you have a new assignment. To get a few wild garlic bulbs in the woods and then we will plant them on the borders of the forest, said the Archmage to the young man. All right, I'll see what I can do, the young man replied and wandered off into the woods. Soon, Daniel came into a clearing. There were mushrooms, shrubs, various herbs growing there. Possibly the wild garlic should be here somewhere. Excuse me. Daniel started pulling out various herbs and examining them. The young man didn't know anything about herbs and had no idea what wild garlic looked like. He saw only the regular one in his garden. Daniel spread out the plants on the garden and wondered how he could tell which one was garlic. Okay, well, smell them. I'll try and find this garlic by its smell. Because, yeah, you don't want to taste it in case something's poisonous, and we're not giving up. Start to smell the plants. The first pleasant one wasn't garlic, for sure, and his smell was really unpleasant. The second plant didn't smell of anything, but the third one smelt of good old garlic. So there it was. Daniel happily picked some more garlic for the elves and headed back to them. He returned to the Order of the Long Route. Here's your garlic, Petonius. Thank you, Daniel. We praise and honor you for helping us. I'm sorry Queen Zana can't thank you in person right now, but I'll tell her everything. Maybe next time she'll thank you personally. Petonius said joyfully and took the garlic. Then I shall continue my journey. Goodbye, Daniel said. And I won't hold you back any longer then. The Archmage smiled, and once again, Daniel walked alone into the forest. Daniel walked along the road looking around. To the left you could see the Dorgan Range with its beautiful snow-capped peaks. The evening came gradually. The stars scattered across the night sky and twinkled cheerfully in the distance. I should spend the night here, Danny thought, and started to prepare for sleep. Should he go to sleep or sit and gaze at the stars? Well, we're totally going to gaze at the stars. But also I'm curious about... Okay, so we have story actions, Diablo and Zana 3. We've got 4 hero, 1 coward? What, because we didn't want to kill people? Okay. So, I don't actually know where we are. Oh, no, I do know where we are. This is our journey. That's a clever way of doing it. Okay, gaze at the stars. Daniel lay down on the grass and looked up at the starry sky. The sight was fascinating, especially with the high mountains in the background. The stars were very bright. They seemed to beckon to the young adventurer. I wish I could be there, far away from home, Daniel thought wistfully, looking at the stars. Suddenly he heard a growling noise from somewhere in the mountains and the cry of an unknown bird. Some strange creatures must be inhabiting these mountains, he thought. He lay there for a while, thinking of everything that happened to him along his way, and then he fell asleep. The next morning, Daniel set off again. Joyfully walking along the road, the young man suddenly stopped. In front of him was a pile of leaves. It looked like a trap for travellers. So, go up to the leaves and chop them, walk on the leaves, go around the leaves, turn off the road and to the river. Let's go to the river. Daniel turned off the road and headed south towards the river. When he reached the river, he swam to the other side. Here he saw a canoe and oar abandoned on the bank. There were some wet human footprints leading into the forest. Should Danny follow the footprints or go back to the road, or maybe he should ride the canoe? I'm curious about the footprints. Oh dear. The footprints led to the forest. It was impossible to find them further among the grass, so Daniel just kept on going on the off chance. After walking 200 meters through the forest, suddenly he felt a dagger at his throat. Someone came up from behind him and grabbed him. He could feel someone's soft warm bosom against his back. Looking for me, whelp? A woman's voice asked. I was just gathering mushrooms here, the young man said in a choked voice. With a sword? Tell the truth, the girl laughed. All right, I just saw a canoe by the river and followed the tracks. I thought someone might need help, Danny said. The grip loosened and she removed the dagger. Daniel turned to face her and stared at her in fascination. It was enough to stare at. Slender, strong figure, big bosom, pretty face, and she was wearing incredibly fine clothes. She also had a bow on her back. Hey, wake up! Never seen a girl before? The girl said. I have, but not like you. You're not a local, are you? Who are you and where are you from? I'm an Amazon. My name is Valkyrie. Our tribe lives much further south down the river. We had an annual canoe race and I was ahead of my competitors, but I swam in the wrong direction by mistake. How could I screw up? I almost won. So in the end, when I got here and saw the bridge in the distance, I realized I was lost and had to go ashore and play it by ear. Good thing I always having a weapon on me. My name's Daniel, and I am a local from Sunny Hills. Amazon, huh? Those are the women who live in a female-only commune, right? I never thought I'd meet one of you, Daniel said in surprise. So will you help me? I don't know these parts at all, Valkyrie said, looking Daniel in the eye. Okay, well, we will help you. Yeah. Okay, let's try to get you out of here, Danny said. Valkyrie smiled victoriously and they set off. To be honest, Daniel didn't really know where they were going, but he picked going south and it was the right direction. The two made their way further and further through the dense forest. It got dark. The travellers decided to stop for the night. They made a fire, made a place to sleep, and had a bite to eat. The full moon was going to come out from behind the clouds. I still don't understand how you reproduce. You don't have any moon, Danny said. This is the most popular question ordinary people ask when they meet us. We don't reproduce. We find girls and women who are tired of living in your society and give them a new home, where everyone is just like them. Some of them even come to us themselves. We get our own food, build our own homes, and do other things. Everyone's very happy, Valkyrie said. Is that so? That makes sense, Daniel smiled. Okay, it's time to go to bed now, but we do better to do it in turn. You never know what could happen in the forest. Great, you go to sleep, I'll keep watch, the young man answered. The charming Amazon went off to her sleeping place and fell asleep. Daniel sat down by the fire and started listening to the sounds of the forest. He sat like this for a long time until he heard a crunching sound of branches. He drew his blade and waited. The figure of a boy in ragged clothes emerged from the darkness. He walked over to the fire and looked at Danny. Me, I'm lost. Take me home, please, the boy said. Where did you come from? Daniel asked. Berry picking in the forest. I live in foothills. Will you help me? The boy said and held out his hands to Danny. Valkyrie woke up after hearing their conversation. Daniel, wait! Don't you think it's strange? Foothills is very far away, isn't it? The Amazon asked. What should Daniel say? What do you suggest? Oh, it's a werewolf! What do you suggest, Valkyrie? Danny asked. I don't know. This all seems very suspicious. The night, the boys, and foothills. This story sounds a bit strange, Valkyrie said curiously. The boy stood and looked at the adults, not understanding what they were saying. At that moment, the full moon came out behind the clouds and illuminated the travellers. Before the astonished eyes of the Amazon and Daniel, the boy turned into a large humanoid wolf. Valkyrie grabbed her bow and Daniel drew his sword. The werewolf jumped to attack Daniel. It was unarmed, but it had great strength, fangs and claws. It ran up to Danny and struck him in the face with the back of his huge paw, jolting Danny aside. The monster ran towards the Amazon who was preparing to shoot her bow. Daniel got up quickly and ran towards her. The werewolf stood between Danny and Valkyrie and the Danny. What should Danny do? Tell Valkyrie to shoot. Watch streak! Woo! I see you managed to repair it a little after Twitch killed it last time. I made a cold brew with lemonade. Blue raspberry. It's very nice. Very nice. And it reminded me I'm just going to put lemonade on my shopping list. No, I just put mimimimi. That's not how you spell lemonade. That's how you spell lemonade. Right. Shoot! Danny shouted. Valkyrie immediately released the taunt string of her bow and an arrow pierced the werewolf's body. The monster was wounded in the left shoulder but continued to charge towards the girl. She dropped her bow and drew her dagger. Daniel ran up to the enemy and slashed his right leg with his sword. Blood splattered around the werewolf's leg, and the blood splattered around and the werewolf's leg below the knee fell off. It was slashed off. It howled in pain and fell down quickly, but persisted in crawling towards the Amazon rather quickly. Should Danny try and cut its head off or tear its mouth open? Decapitate it? Danny's sword whizzed through the air and landed on the werewolf's neck. The wolf's head turned to one side and went still with its first mouth open and its body went still as well. Are you alright? Daniel asked worriedly. Yeah, he didn't get to me, thank you, Valkyrie replied. Alright, then we can sleep in peace and move out in the morning. I agree, the Amazon replied and yawned. Daniel and Valkyrie dragged the werewolf's body away from the camp and quietly fell asleep. They were no longer in danger in this forest. Well, that is very arrogant to assume. Huh, ooh, hello. Strong woman, okay. At dawn, Valkyrie... Okay, what did that give us? So we've got Xana 3, Vampire 2. Ah, so we're down here. I like this way of doing the sort of, this is a story with many endings. Obviously, we're going for an ending down here. But had we made different choices, we could be up here or something. So that's really cool. At dawn, Valkyrie and Daniel continued going south through the forest. They came to a path with a totem standing in front of them. I know this totem, Valkyrie exclaimed happily. Are these signs yours? Danny asked. Yes, this totem match... I can word. Hey, Billiers! Yeah, the totem marks the border of our territory. I'm almost home now. I can find my way from here. Thank you for everything, Daniel. The Amazon said and hugged Danny. Goodbye, the young man said sadly. Valkyrie ran along the familiar path into the forest. Daniel had no choice but to wave a goodbye and go further. The bright morning accompanied Daniel on his journey. Finally, he went out into the forest and found himself facing a new obstacle. He reached a cliff with a river flowing beneath it. The only way to get to the other side was a long fallen tree. The task is not easy, judging by the strong wind being in the way. Right. No! Okay, well I'm dead then. The hero fell down and died. Okay. It's alright. I'm just gonna get across the thing and then I will look at Sierra like Jess. I know, right? As he crossed to the other side of the cliff, Danny was able to catch his breath and get his thoughts together. The young man sat down on the edge of the cliff and swung his legs over the edge. There was a river flowing far below him. A black bat flew out of nowhere and perched on Daniel's shoulder, and he smiled. Suddenly he heard noise from the forest. What should he do? Pay no attention and relax. Go in the direction of the noise. Go in the direction of the noise. I have a bat friend! Daniel ran into the forest where the sounds were coming from. He came out into a clearing surrounded by trees and bushes. Suddenly everything went quiet. Even the birds disappeared somewhere. Danny was standing in front of a large branching tree with some bushes behind it. He felt tense as if someone was watching him. Suddenly a green beam appeared from the foliage of the tree. It slowly crept up the young man's body towards his face. A drop of cold sweat trickled down the young man's face. What should he do? I'm just gonna go... wait? Oh dear. Daniel stood still and waited. He was paralysed with fear. A flash of light blinded the young man for a moment, and then a beam of plasma tore his head to pieces. His bloody body fell to the grass. Apparently he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Oh, that's very violent. I've been a hero. I've been a hero. Continue. Can we, like, pick up from where we were before? Did we get any endings? I'm gonna go with we didn't. So, and I don't think there was a save.
What do we know about this story? And it all began in...
So, right, okay. So, why do I have to go to school? Why do you have to? His mother was surprised. All children go to school to become smart. But I want to be a soldier like my dad. All in good time, son. When you grow up, you'll decide for yourself what you want to do, serve in the army or become a farmer. Uncle Tom is a fat, well-to-do farmer. He has his own herd of sheep and cows, and they bring him a lot of money. Ooh, hang on. That was his mother again. Look, Uncle Tom is a fat, well-to-do father. He has his own herd of sheep and cows, and they bring him a lot of money. Wouldn't you like to be like him? Danny didn't really want to be a fat farmer and mess around in manure, but he didn't say anything. Okay. Alright. So, at this point, instead of going to school, we're going to go into the forest. Come what may, the boy thought and ran in the direction of the forest. Tall trees rustled noisily in the wind, the strange berry bushes growing between the trees beckoned to Danny. He found a path that led off into the distance. Should he eat the berries, go along the path, or go in the opposite direction for the path? Opposite direction, obviously. Danny decided not to follow the path, but turned into a thicket. He walked for several minutes until he came to a strange clearing. The grass in the clearing was flattened and some mosaic glass pieces were scattered right over it. The boy looked around, but found no one nearby. Should he play around with the mosaic glass or go further? I want to play with the mosaic glass. Ooh, we make a mosaic. This cool. Yeah, so we're just going to pick different options. Because if we pick the same options to get back to where we were, then, you know, we'd get back to where we were, but is that fun? And, you know. So I think what we'll do is we'll basically see how fast we can die again. Because I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. This is really pretty. What do I do? I can word. I have no idea what I'm trying to word, but I can word. And then we'll switch to the other game. So I think we've done a good imitation of what this one is. You've got an idea of it's kind of silly. But yeah, it is very Sierra, I think. You had a good point there, Ray. Which is not a bad thing, because Sierra games are fun. Which reminds me, I've got to get back to Broken Templar at some point. Broken Templar. Broken Sword. Chewy, how you doing? Making a flower. How are you keeping? It's a very pretty flower. Danny put together a beautiful mosaic and it started to shine fabulously. The boy did not expect such an effect and moved away from it timidly. Danny heard a girl's voice. I've been trying to put together all day myself. Who are you? Come out and show yourself, the boy replied. Then a pretty face peeked out from behind a thick tree. It was a girl about the same age as Daniel. Her sharp ears were the only difference from a normal person. Hey, Sana, princess of the Southern Forest. When I grow up, I'll be queen of the elves, the girl said proudly. And I'm Daniel, although you can call me Danny, the boy said awkwardly. To meet you, Danny. Let me show you our forest, Sana said. I'd love to, but it's getting dark and my mum will take a belt to me if I won't get back home, said Daniel. Then let me see you off and you must promise to come and visit me someday, the elven girl said with a smile. I will, the boy replied. Sana accompanied him to the edge of the forest. Danny could see his village from there and he walked it alone. Ah, we made progress towards Xana already. Then I feel like we need to go meet her. Okay. So, we're going to escape to the forest. Take the mushroom. Sit quietly. Climb a tree. Throw a mushroom. Continue. Go to the queen. Remind her of their meeting before. Oh, it's been a long time. It's me, Danny. We met many years ago in the forest, remember? Daniel exclaimed, both surprised and delighted. Danny, is that you? I'm so happy to see you. You've changed so much. You've grown up to be such an attractive young man. Didn't keep your promise. You haven't visited me since then. She walked over to the young man and hugged him. Yes, after that incident, my mother started to keep an eye on me more. That's why I couldn't visit you. I'm sorry. Well, that's all right. The main thing is that we're together again, the Elven Queen said happily. I agree, the boy said. I guess if you're here today, then it's fate. I would like to ask you for some help, and I hope you won't refuse. Anna said, how can I help? The young man asked. It's a long story, so I won't go into details. Okay, this is the ritual. Ooh, okay. Destroyed all the dendroids, helped the order. In fact, I have another request for you. Far away from here, in the swamps, there lives an old woman, Baba Yaga. God, Baba Yaga's everywhere. She's an old witch and lives in close cooperation with these vampires. If you manage to destroy her, not only can we force the vampires to retreat, excuse me, but we can also launch an attack and wipe out this evil forever. What do you say to that? What should Daniel answer? Okay, so tell me more about Baba Yaga. How can I find her and what's she done to you? Okay, Baba Yaga was our court mage many centuries ago. Yes, she's an elf too. However, something dark crept into her heart, so she became very aggressive and started to interfere with my father's rule. No one could tolerate her in the city anymore and decided to exile her. She went to live away from us in the northern swamps, so it would be hard to recognize her as an elf now because black magic changes the essence of living beings. She's a terrible old witch. If it wasn't for her fraternizing with our enemies, the vampires, we would have forgotten all about her. Since she used to live with us, she has now gotten all the information they need, which makes it easier for them to plan their attacks on us. She absolutely needs to be obliterated. The northern swamps are located beyond the Dorgan Range, so you'll easily notice it. So I'll help you. Humans and elves must help each other. Great, you're a brave man, Daniel. I hope that you will succeed. You and your escort will leave order at dawn. Okay, so can we try chatting with the locals? Nope. Walk around the city. Help him. Cool. We should definitely stand still and wait. Go get the berries. Right. The maze is different. Well, it's a lot more obvious. It's the bottom one you have to go to now. The maze, take a handful of berries. We'll do the thing the same. Talk to the tree. Smell them. Continue. So that was Xana 1, Xana 2, Xana 3. Ah, okay, cool. We still got a coward, but you know, I'm okay with that. So this time we are here and we have different actions to what we did before. Wait till the map thing. So yeah, because we went up there last time, and then this time we did this, and then we got different actions. So we got a different thing because we knew her. So I'm going to choose a different thing so we don't meet the Amazon, and then I don't have to deal with the... But I will gaze at the stars, because the stars are pretty. So let's go around the leaves. The road laid still along the Dorgan Range. The mountains were really close to the road. The singing of the birds was interrupted by a heart-rending roar that came up from the mountains. Danny stopped and stared up, but saw nothing. And the roar repeated again. The young hero got nervous and pulled out his sword. I'm gonna leave. Moving slowly along the road, Daniel heard some noise. The sound grew louder and louder and his ears began to ring. Suddenly, tearing the clouds apart, some object flashed through the sky. It was clearly descending, and then it disappeared behind the trees. The sound was gone. A suspicious object attracted Daniel's attention. What should he do? Honestly, that looks like a spaceship. I want to go see what it is. So, this time in the map, We're now going this way instead of down towards the river. The tree branches hit Danny in the face from time to time, but he still continued running deep into the forest. Yeah, I played the first one, Chewy. I don't remember it. I think I must have played it on stream based on when it was in 2020. I mean, I could look and see if I have a VOD for it. But, you know, Choice of Life Middle Ages. I don't know whether I have that one or not. I think possibly that one appeals less. I like fantasy type games, but again, it's a visual novel. You know, you say it doesn't require too much skill. However, this one required me to cross a tree branch, so it's definitely interesting. But hey, we are an equal opportunity game person. And we will give all games a chance within reason. And, you know, the ones we're not sure about, we play on our alt. Or the ones we don't want to start a big game and commit to a big game, we play on our alt. Yeah, I mean, you know, this one is definitely, there are, you know, 68 achievements. Oh my god, you can kill the thingy? That one. This is the one I need to get for crab. But I figure, you know, I go through all of the options. There's so many different things. We haven't yet got an ending. If we can get endings, then we unlock the no death rule, the god mode, so you can do everything without, you know, dying. That means you can get all the options a little better. I think we're supposed to be going towards a swamp, so I'm not really quite sure how this is helping us get anywhere. Okay, so the tree branches hit Danny in the face from time to time, but he still continued. Yeah, it's a choose your own adventure, basically. Yeah, which is okay. Continued running deep into the forest. Just a bit further and he ran out into a small clearing. The thing that flew over him was standing in the middle of it. The object was made of metal and looked weird to Daniel, as he'd never seen such a thing before. He couldn't find any doors in the object. They were either closed or invisible. Suddenly he heard someone cry and loud bangs in the forest. Should he run away or check it out, or should he try and open the metal object? Try and open the object. Okay, we're just going to get electrocuted. As he walked around the object, he found what looked like a door, but had no handles. He took out his blade and tried to bend the metal. However, the object's protection system worked, and Daniel was hit by a strong electric discharge. The young man's charred body flew a few meters away from the object. Yeah, that was really silly. Okay, so check it out. Oh no, it's the blinking. Right, it's the beam. Okay, so we're definitely jumping aside. Daniel jumped away from the beam with incredible speed and fear. At that same moment, a shot ran out and a beam of plasma tore through the bushes behind Danny. The beam disappeared. Hardly had the young man raised his head to take a look when a terrible black creature with a long spiked tail flew over him and rushed to the source of the beam. The monster leaped into the trunk of the tree and with the help of sharp claws began to climb the branch from which the shot was fired. Daniel didn't understand what was going on. What should he do? Ooh, use Chester's help. Chester. Ooh. And we got an achievement for it. Elven Archer. But yes, it is this is very much choose your own adventure. Which I do like. The young man remembered at the whistle and quickly found it in his pocket. He put the whistle to his lips and blew with all his might. A melodious loud whistle filled the forest. The black monster even stopped for a few seconds and stared at Daniel. The tune attracted the monster and it jumped down from the tree. Then slowly and cautiously it started to approach Danny. The young man's heart began to beat wildly. He dropped the whistle and drew his sword. When the monster was very, very close, Daniel tried to attack it with his trembling hands, but he missed. Chester was nowhere to be seen. Suddenly there was a whistle, and a beautiful elven arrow pierced the monster's eye. The monster roared in pain and broke off the arrow, spraying the grass with yellow blood. That's when Daniel cheered up and decapitated the black monster. The enemy was defeated. Danny looked around for Chester and saw him in the bushes nearby. Chester just waved at the young man with a bow in his hand and then disappeared into the woods. So yes, channel points. You click on the happy looking green trophy to be able to claim your thing. Oh, and then Nightbot is also telling you about your daily Chivo. But yeah, to make progress towards free games, then yeah, just basically 150 channel points gets you your daily Chivo collected every time you come to the stream, and eventually, I did think so. Twitch didn't think so because it doesn't have the first time chat has got turned off, hasn't it? I think I turned off first time chat stuff because ID at Xbox. No, when I was moderating Xbox, having everything highlighted is irritating. So I'd actually turned it off. But you did wonder in some while ago. Possibly. I mean, I think you've been following me for a while. Yeah, you've been following me since 2020. So I assume you came in at some point. But yes, Daily Chivo is something that's new-ish. And, you know, basically is a way for me to reward people that watch my stream, just for watching my stream, with free games. Probably an Extra Life one, yeah. That makes sense. 7 years for Extra Life this November, which is pretty cool. So yeah, should be good. I am hoping that maybe Power Wash 2 will be out by then, so we have our usual Power Washy stream, because I finished one and all the extra stuff and uninstalled it to get back some space. So we need a new game to play. But yeah, so yeah, don't forget to collect your daily Chivo. Okay, Chester, thank you for saving me. Oh, hello. Who are you? Xenobug. Oh, kill the Xenobug. Oh, we were supposed to save the Xenobug. Well, at least we know where it is. We have the Huntress. Okay, so the Xenobug. We've ended up joining up with where we were before. Because this was the Amazon track. We ended up at exactly the same thing with that beam. So, heck, well, you know, we know exactly how to get to the Xenobug for next time. And I'll do that off stream. The black monster was defeated. Daniel cleaned himself up and put away his sword and looked at the invisible creature. The invisible creature sheathed its sword and pressed something on its armor. Suddenly its disguise disappeared, and Daniel saw a beautiful female body partly covered in metal armor and a helmet. Thank you for helping me defeat the Xenobug. You didn't kill it, but at least you distracted it from me, the stranger said, and held out a hand for a handshake. Danny stood, still not understanding what happened, slowly recovering from what he saw. Oh right, I didn't introduce myself, she said, and took off her helmet. When the stranger removed her first helmet, Daniel saw a pretty dark-skinned girl. I'm Sheila the Huntress, she introduced herself, and I'm Daniel, just an adventurer. The young man introduced himself back. They shook hands, and the tension after the battle started to fade away. We're looking for trouble for sure, Sheila said with a grin. Right, I didn't know we had anything like that in our forest. You hadn't, it shouldn't be here. It's a foundling. If you don't kill it in time, it'll breed, and you won't be able to stop such a huge army, said the girl. Wow, Daniel said. Alright, Daniel, thank you again for your help. I still have 2 aliens left on your planet, and I feel tired already. But nothing can be done about it. Work is work. I'll have a good rest at home after I deal with the 2 aliens left, said Sheila enthusiastically. Look, I could help you. You rest here for a while, and I'll deal with your aliens. You just tell me what they are and where to find them, the young man said. You're not much of a fighter for sure, but you have a good fighting spirit. Alright, I'll tell you everything you want to know, and I'll try and help you if I can. Your task will be to destroy the Yeti and the dragon. Oh my god. Okay, well, let's ask about the hunters. Who are the hunters? Asked the young man. We are a race that eliminates all sorts of threats to our galaxy. We eliminate foundlings who can easily destroy a young race like yours. We learn about the whereabouts of such foundlings and fly there. Well, you've seen the rest yourself. Who would throw them in here and why? Daniel was indignant. Oh, that's a complicated story. There's one race that does that. It deliberately creates problems and wars among young races and then off a military system. Thus, it makes the entire planet its slave and makes its inhabitants pay loans. They get rich at your expense. They don't care who they sell the weapons to as it's just business to them, Sheila said. And nothing can be done about it. You know the truth, so you can punish them. Daniel was surprised. Yes, we know, but we operate within the framework of intergalactic treaties. This fantasy book suddenly became a sci-fi as well. And we can't just declare war on them. The Organization of United Galaxies could influence them, but it ignores our pleas and arguments. In short, corruption and bureaucracy, that's what's getting in the way. But it's possible that after visiting your planet, I'll send a report to the government again and we'll reveal that race's evil doings. Ask about the Yeti. More about the Yeti, please. The Yeti is a mutant living high in the mountains. It's a large creature covered with hair. It likes to throw stones from the mountain at travellers, and it plays dirty tricks on the locals. It's not a huge threat, but it spoils the life locally. Dragon. Dragon is a huge lizard that can fly and shoot out fire from its mouth. It lives somewhere in the north of Dorgan. It's the north of the swamps. Well, we're going to the swamps anyway. It's not very active so far, so you've probably never seen it. However, when it grows up and gains strength, it will burn everything in sight. I'll see you after I kill them. Okay. Daniel was approaching the entrance to Grotto. He could see the huge stone doors painted with ancient goblin ruins. He walked up to the doors and stopped. There was no one around, and the young man had no idea how to get inside. Melon! Speak friend and enter! It's strange that no one mentioned how to open the doors. What should he do? I mean, were we supposed to, try touching the runes? Danny ran his hands over the runes on the door, and they glowed with a magical white light. After a moment, the doors began to open, revealing a dark tunnel leading down. I mean, I didn't know we were going into the, into the mountains, but sure. Your go-to snack is forgetting to eat. Mine is, if it's extra live stream, then it's sausage rolls. Otherwise, Sour Patch Kids and potentially a biscuit. Water is not a snack. Water is a necessity and it's boring. I'm sorry. Yeah, I have many go-to snacks. I snack when I eat. No, I snack when I eat. No, I snack when I game. Peanuts sometimes as well. So peanuts. I have the little corn things that are not peanuts, but they're made of corn. Cheese sometimes. But yes, I will die on this hill, but water is not a snack. A moment the doors began to open, revealing a dark tunnel leading down. There weren't many torches on the walls of the cave. Daniel boldly went down the stone stairs and examined the cave while he was descending. 10 minutes later, he reached the bottom and came out in a huge cave with stalactites, columns and bridges and goblin houses. There it was, a grotto. Monster Munch, pepperoni and ginger beer. That sounds gross. No offense. But wow, that was a combination. It's the ginger beer to settle your stomach after you've had the Monster Munch and the pepperoni. I'm not mocking you, I'm just laughing because that is like complete opposite from I brush my teeth and water. I'm having fun today because it's hot. It's hot, but it's not hot. Big flavors, yeah. Also, Monster Munch always smelled horrible. But then I'm very much a plain crisps kind of person. Salt. Sea salt. Maybe salt and pepper. Monster Munch just always looked kind of gross. I mean, the texture-wise they were brilliant, but the taste was horrible for me, personally. And I'm allergic to pepperoni, so that wouldn't work. Ginger beer. I do like ginger beer. Ginger beer's good. But yes, apparently I'm in a cheeky mood today. Where are we? Okay. Something. Goblin City. There we are. The unusual architecture of the house. Why are we in the Goblin City? This wasn't mentioned before. The unusual architecture of the houses in the cave looked very nice. Lashings and lashings of ginger beer. It's a very midnight feast school story type. What even is a lashing? It's when you pour it but you don't measure it. The little goblins scurried through the streets of the city, taking a look at their visitor every now and then. Daniel went around the main street towards a large building that looked like a citadel. This is probably the Goblin Citadel, and their ruler lives here, the young man thought, looking at Goblin merchant tents. Go to the Citadel, walk around the city, or chat with the merchants. So let's walk around the city. Danny wanted to walk around the city, through the streets of the wonderful underground city and turned off the main street behind the nearest house. In the middle of the poorly lit area, I saw a building that looked like a factory. Several huge pipes came out of its roof. The smoke coming from them blackened the cave ceiling above the city. What does this factory produce? The young man was very curious. The building had no windows, so the only way to find out was to go inside. Into the factory, obviously. Midnight feasts. Yeah. Very much an Enid Blyton school story type situation. Cautiously opening the door, the young man entered the strange building. Hot air hit him in the face. Having looked around, Daniel realized it was a gold processing plant. Large steel mechanisms operated by goblins poured molten gold into molds. After that, the gold cooled down and turned into ingots of the same size. Danny's eyes sparkled as he thought he could get some gold for himself, but it wouldn't be so easy because there were several goblins in the building who were operating these mechanisms. He had to get rid of them. Should he sneak up on the false goblin or go away as quickly as possible? Well, we're not stealing. Daniel walked towards the citadel, but he didn't go far. Guards with swords and shields approached him from different directions. Stop, human! Okay, I'll stop. What's the matter? We've noticed that you've been acting suspiciously outside, and we've never seen you around our city before. King Toby ordered us to take you to him. The guard explained. Come with us. Daniel had no other option, so he meekly entered the citadel with his goblin escort. The citadel was beautiful and cozy inside. It seemed like a toy house to Danny, probably because of the size of the furniture and the other elements of the interior. After passing through several halls, the guards led the young man to the throne room, where he saw a plump little goblin with a grey beard and a gold crown sitting on a large wooden throne. Here's the stranger, your majesty. The guard bowed and pointed at Danny. Thank you, lieutenant. You can leave now, the king ordered. The guards obediently left the hall and closed the door behind him. Hello, human. I'm Toby the Digger, king of Grotto. I know all the human merchants that come through here, but I've never seen you before. Who are you and what are you looking for in my city? How do you... Toby asked suspiciously. How do you do? I'm glad to meet you. I'm Daniel Horde from Sunny Hills. Indeed, it's my first time in your wonderful city. I'm not a merchant, but just a simple man, Daniel said. I see. So what do you want in our city? My subjects do not like it when there are suspicious people hanging around here, the king said. I'm looking for adventure. We've already got, like, 3 things we're supposed to be doing. We want more? Hey, Apex! Adventures, you say? Perhaps there's one thing you could do. That is if you're not afraid. I'm all ears, your majesty. There's a Yeti living on the... Oh, we're already, you know, going to... Yeah. It constantly throws snow and stones at travellers who are on their way to the grotto, and this undermines people's interest in our city. And sometimes it does its business near the city gates. It would be nice to deal with this Yeti once and for all. We're tired of its antics already. Can you handle this job? Why don't your warriors kill it? Goblins are good warriors, but goblins are afraid of cold weather. The soldiers who were sent to get the Yeti's head were either killed or died from the cold. None of them came back. Sure, we have to kill him for the thingy anyway. Huntress. Sure, I'll deal with this messy creature, said Danny and headed for the door. Having left the citadel and exited through the city gates, Danny looked around. The high mountains almost touched the clouds with their peaks. The young man noticed a very steep path going up the mountain and winding behind the cliffs here and there. I guess I have to go this way, Daniel thought, and began to cautiously climb up the rocky path. Several hours passed, but he didn't reach the top yet. It seemed easy from down below. Danny was starting to get cold and tired. He was thinking of resting a bit. Suddenly, the young man heard a crash from above. As he looked up, he saw a huge boulder flying his way. How can he escape it? Try and hide under a rock? In a flash, Daniel leaped behind... Stop alternating between calling him Danny and Daniel. It's driving me balmy. Leaped behind a large piece of rock that was lying in the path. The huge boulder flew into the place where he'd previously standing and then tumbled further down. Damn it, Yeti, you want to kill me? Just you wait, I'll fix you. Danny said angrily and continued going up the path. The trail led him to a snowy mountain plateau. The wind was even stronger here and it chilled to the bone. There was a cave to his right and an incredible view of the swamps in front of him. Daniel cautiously entered the Yeti's cave. Following the winding path of the cave, he came into a big room where the monster lived. There was a fire burning in the centre of the room and the remains of animals and people were scattered in all corners. The Yeti was sitting on a rock in the far corner of the cave, picking something in its fur, but it didn't notice Danny. How should Danny kill it? I challenge you to a draw. You stop catching fleas or come for your head, Danny shouted. His voice echoed off the walls of the cave, creating an ominous atmosphere. The Yeti turned his head and looked at the young man, but didn't get up from the stone. Suddenly it swung a heavy rock and threw it at Daniel. Yes, that was what it does best. So should Danny try to hit the rock or should he dodge it? We're going to dodge it, otherwise it's going to break your sword. Danny ducked down quickly as a stone whizzed over the top of his head and hit the wall behind him. The Yeti growled in anger, got up and went towards the young man. Danny quickly searched the cave with his eyes and noticed something gleaming in a pile of trash and bones lying on the floor. Maybe there's something useful there. Aside from that, the young man noticed a crack in a stalactite above him. Maybe he could try throw something at it. A sword, maybe. What should he do? Throw store at the stalactite. What if, Danny thought, looking at the crack in the big stalactite. With a quick movement of his hand, the young man hurled the sword at the stalactite. The sword struck the icicle loudly and fell to the floor of the cave. The Yeti standing under the stalactite looked up in surprise. Nothing happened at first, but then the stalactite broke off and flew down, piercing the furry monster's body from top to bottom. Ouch! The Yeti's body was beautifully torn apart, and Danny threw up his arms in triumph. Having finished with the Yeti, the young man rested a little and decided to go back to the goblins. Now he should tell King Toby about the defeated monster and get some help from the goblins to fight the war against the Mingles. I feel like I've suddenly gone into another storyline. But the thirst for adventure prevented Danny from staying put and running routine errands. He was drawn far into the unknown. He was also a little thirsty. Do not suck the icicle, mate. May Toby be with you. Okay, so we got Huntress 1 and 2 to go with Xana. Yet Daniel cut off the Yeti's shaggy ear and hurried away from the path that had brought him here. Fighting the cold and piercing wind again, the young man went down to the grotto. A smile lit up Toby's face as Danny entered the throne room. Daniel, you're alive! Tell me, how did it go? The goblin explained happily. When I went up to the top of the mountain and found the Yeti's cave, then we had a little fight, and here you go. The young man said and handed Toby the cut-off ear of the Yeti. Toby took the ear and examined it carefully and smiled again. Incredible, you did it, I'm speechless. So many of my warriors tried to kill it. You're either a very skilled warrior or a damn lucky one, Toby said. A little bit of both, I guess. So what about our deal? Will you fight on our side? Daniel asked. Sure, you help my city and the goblins will help you protect your city. Send us a message before the battle starts and together we will tear these brutes apart. Okay. So I completed a huntress thing, but I got credit for the goblin, whatchamacallit. So that's just weird. Thank you, King Toby. Now I have to go report this to the enlistment officer in Ragwen. We never enlisted. So with your permission, I must go. Toby got up from his throne, walked up to the young man and shook his hand. Saying goodbye, Daniel left the gates of Grotto and set off on his way back. He didn't want to go along the road again, so he decided to take a shortcut and go through the mountains. Once again, he had a long way to climb to the top of the mountain. Once he reached the top of the Dorgan Range, Danny went west along it towards the city until he reached its furthest peak. Here he found a huge nest on the mountain's peak. Who could have built it here, he wondered. The young men came close to the nest and saw it was empty. Suddenly, a strange creature flew up to the nest from the side of the cliff. It looked like a human and a bird combined. It hovered in the air, flapping its great wings, and looked at Daniel. Should he talk to the creature or watch it? Perhaps he should jump into the nest. I'm gonna go talk. Whoa! Hello. Oh. Hello, young lady. I was just passing by, saw the nest, but didn't touch it. Danny didn't finish the sentence. The harpy clawed at the young man's chest and started to tear his flesh violently. Daniel died from severe injuries and lack of blood. Okay. Right. Jump into the nest? It's a harpy! They told us legends about such monsters at school. I must run away, Daniel thought, and jumped into the empty nest. The nest flew off the mountain peak down the slope, leaving the screaming harpy behind. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, these don't move around. Where are we trying to go? The bottom bit? I don't understand what the T pieces do. Okay, apparently that worked. After successfully descending from the Dorgan range, Daniel headed towards Rangwon. No, we don't want to go to Rangwon. We never enlisted. We ran away into the forest. Rangwon was... He should deliver the news from the grotto to the officer as soon as possible. Rangwon wasn't so far away, but it still wasn't that close. It was getting dark. We're supposed to be going to the bloody swamp. I got so distracted. It was getting dark. It was still dangerous to travel at night, so Danny decided to camp for the night. As usually, he left the road, set up camp near the forest. There was no one on the road, and the young man went to sleep quietly. The bright sun lit up a new day. Daniel woke up and looked around. It seemed to him that something had changed in the landscape. Cart? Where did it come from? There wasn't any cart here the last night. The amazing thing was it moving without a horse. It was loaded with a bunch of boxes. Okay, totally examine the cart. Whoa, it's a transformer! As soon as Daniel started walking towards the cart, it stopped. It approached the cart carefully, trying to figure out how it could move on its own. The young man looked under its bottom, examined the cart from above, but he couldn't find anything unusual. However, when he tried to open one of the boxes, he found they were all firmly stuck to the cart and didn't open. And then something happened that he couldn't have expected at all. The cart threw him off himself and began to turn into something. The boards of the cart creaked and its metal parts clanked as it was transforming. When the transformation was complete, Daniel saw a humanoid mechanism made out of wood. "What are you?" Danny cried. "Easy, boy. If you behave yourself, I might spare your life. I only want information, nothing more," the creature replied. "Information? I don't know anything. I'm a country boy. I've been taking care of cows and other animals," said Daniel. "I know who you are, Daniel Horde, and I know that you went to the grotto to ask for help, so please don't force me to torture you. Just tell me how many goblins are going to fight, what their weapons are, and tell me about the royal army," the transformed cart said. "Oh, you're some sort of mechanical spy of the Mingles. Nice try, Mingle Emperor." Danny grinned. "Any else shine?" "Don't call me a mechanism. I'm a most perfect creation after the Emperor Altronus the Ruthless, of course. A cartbot. So for the last time I'm asking you, will you tell me everything or die?" Should Daniel tell him all the secret information or attack the cart? Attack it? "I won't tell you anything, you log. I'd rather cut you into sawdust," Daniel said and unsheathed his sword. "Too bad. Whatever. I'll find another traitor," said the cartbot and rushed into battle. The cartbot swung its hand to hit Daniel. It's better to avoid its attacks because it weighs a lot more than Daniel. What should he do? Dodge, flee, or cover himself with his sword? Dodge. Oh dear. Oh dear, we died again. Daniel leaped to the side, dodged the cartbot's arms, however he couldn't dodge a second blow. The robot's heavy hand fell on his head, smashed it to pieces, and continued its way, crushing its body like a rag. Well, we got slightly further. We got all the way up here this time, and then we died again. We got a little bit confused. We were supposed to be going to the swamp to kill Baba Yaga, but then we suddenly were in a troll thing, and then we killed the Yeti, which I don't know. I've been a hero. 68 scenes, 5 death scenes. Okay. Well, as we've tried several times, and we've unlocked a lot. These are all clusters of the stuff that we can unlock. So we've done a 10th. I think what we'll do is, this is kind of perfect that we died yet again, is just keep continuing, you know, off stream. We got 9 achievements. We're gonna have a quick break now, so don't go anywhere, or do go anywhere if you need to get a snack and a drink, and I'll be back with the second game after the break, because we're just gonna end up dying again in a weird and unusual way, but this has been fun. Choose your own adventure, Swordbreaker Origins, thanks to Ideate Xbox. Okay, so just ending this part of the game. We're going to a break. Don't go anywhere.